Hey guys, this is Ian with Camp Nerd, and today I'm coming to bring you a new tutorial on how to make a system monitor using your counters and your performance monitor, going to the run dialog box and typing in perfmon. And so what we're going to do is this right here is the monitor that we're going to be making. It's going to be measuring your CPU usage, your available memory count, and your system uptime, which is my system has been up for 5 hours today. So what we're going to do is still building onto this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to exit out of this right here, and which is we're going to open up a new Visual Studio 2015 project, and I'm using Community. And I'm kind of happy I got my webcam implemented into my custom desktop screen recorder, so that is a big plus for me. And so now my nose is itching, and it always does this every time I do a video. And so I don't know exactly what it's for. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a new project in your Visual Studio. And as it's coming up, you can make you a folder to put it in. And so I'm just going to leave it on the default right here, but you want to click on Visual C#, and you're going to click on Windows Form Applications, and then right here you're going to change the name of your project to whatever you want. I'm just going to put in monitor, and then we're just going to click OK because it's where I want it to be. And so now, as you can see, that it's creating the project, and it's going to put the Solution Explorer and put everything in. And this is a real easy, simple thing. While that is coming up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to minimize out of this right here, and you're going to want to bring up your perfmon, your performance monitor. So basically, if you're using Windows 8, 8.1, or Windows 10, you're just going to go right down here to where the Windows key is at, and you're going to right-click on it, and you're going to hit run. That brings up the run dialog box. So basically you're just going to put in perfmon, and then you're going to hit enter. And this is going to bring up your performance monitor with everything in there. And right here is going to be where the magic happens. You're going to click on performance monitor. And then as you see, we don't have our CPU up here already. And there's tons and tons of monitors that you can put on here. If you go up here to this little green little plus button right here, and if you click on it, it'll bring up another form, and you can add plenty of counters. There's literally hundreds of counters that you can play with, and you're not going to hurt anything. You can experiment with every single one of them. And so what we're going to do is, since we're going to have our CPU up here already, we're just going to go to our memory, because we're going to do memory as well. So you're just going to go to your memory, and then you can see you can have it available bytes, kilobytes, or your megabytes. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on megabytes, and we're just going to hit the button add to add it over here to our counters, and then we're going to go down to our system. And when you get down to system, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom, second from the bottom, and you're going to hit system uptime, and you're going to add that counter, and you're just going to click OK. Now, if you see that it come up, you've got 3 counters here. And the way that you're going to do this, you're going to have to look for 3 different sections: your object name, your counter name, and your instance name. Now, the way that it goes is object, counter, and instance. Now, if you notice the 3 little lines here, that means that it does not take an instance. It only takes an object name and a counter name. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can take and you can write these down. Remember, it always goes the object first, then the counter, then the instance. If you wanted to write down on a sheet of paper, if you're going to be doing a long list of counters, then you'll be able to have that on hand and look at it. Be sure that you have everything on here with these 3, everything spelled correctly, because if it's not spelled correctly, it's going to throw an error saying that it cannot find the category. And so what we're going to do is, to get everything started, and my nose is itching again. Did somebody throw some itching powder through the YouTube video? Hopefully not. If it is, that would be something to go with the new thing that's magic smoke. And if you don't know what magic smoke is, then you can go see my buddy Jerry. He's doing a Codegasm series, and he does a lot of different things. He just had a new video come out yesterday on changing his UPS, his uninterrupted power source, which he had to change the battery so it really wasn't uninterrupted. It kind of was interrupted, so that could be kind of like a false advertisement or something like that. I have no clue, so let's get back to the project. But his description and a link to his videos and to his channel is down in the description below. Be sure to go check him out. He's a really funny guy. And so what we're going to do here on the form is we're just going to make it a little bit snazzy here. We're going to change the background color to black, and then I'm gonna make it where it's not maximizable. Alright, now the icon, I really don't have an icon to go up there as of yet, so I'm just gonna take where that's not shown. We're going to take and put it into the center screen, and then we're going to name the form one. We're going to name it, let's capitalize that. We're gonna name it monitor. So it'd be monitor. And you see it's changed up here. Now we're going to grab us 4 items from the toolbox. It's going to be 2 to start off with. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab us a label. And then if you notice, it's going to be black because that's the default color. What we're going to do is we're just going to come over here and we're going to change that color to aqua. I like aqua. So we're going to change it to aqua. And then we're just going to change this, say, 12, make it a little bit easier to read. Alright, you can name these like LBL CPU or LBL memory, LBL system. I'm just going to leave them label 1, 2, and 3. And so to get more labels, just press Control C and then Control V twice, and then you will have 2 more labels. Alright, so kind of space that out evenly. Let's bring this form up this way and bring the form, let's say about right there. Now what we want to do is we want to go grab us in the toolbox again, and we're going to grab us a timer. That's 4 items, exactly what I said. Alright, we're going to take this to true, enable it to true. Now for your interval, which is the timer goes in not seconds but milliseconds. So on your milliseconds, it takes 1,000 milliseconds to equal a second. So we want this to tick off every second, so we're going to put it as 1,000. But if you want to do longer intervals, you just take your number times 10, and then that's what you'll have. So if you wanted to do it for a minute, it would be 1,000 times 60. Now, if you want to do it for an hour, it would be 1,000 times 60 times 60, and that would get you an hour. Or you could go 1,000 times 60 times 60 times 24, and then that would be a day, and so forth and so forth. You can do weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, millennium. I mean, you can go as far as you want. The numbers will be so long on there, the computer would probably crash if you was to go a millennium. And so, which is, I sit there, I'm going to do a video on like the milliseconds and everything, kind of let you see how it is. So what we're going to do next on this tutorial is we have our designer form. We pretty much have it laid out. You're going to have 1, 2, 3 labels and your timer. So you're going to go up to View, and you're going to click Code. And my nose is itching again. Oh, why is it itching? So what we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to use a new using that we have not used yet. So it's going to be using, and then it's going to be system dot. Let's go back. That's, yes, system dot diagnostics. And then down here where your class is, this is your public partial class. Alright, we're just going to come down and we're going to add your performance counter, which is, that's what references everything to right here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to name these, and we're going to name perf CPU counter equals new performance counter. And so basically this references the performance monitor, and you've got to put the object, the counter name, and the instance into this. So how to do this, basically you're just going to put your quotation marks, and then remember it goes the object, the counter, and the instance. So the first one we had was processor information. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to put another set of quotation marks. And then we're going to put percent processor time, and then we're going to come back over here and do another set of quotations, and be sure to space these out with commas in between. If not, it'll throw an error, which you'll see the little red squiggly lines under it. So be sure to put a comma in between each one, and then it's going to be underscore total. Okay, now what this does is it brings up your object name, which is right here, and then your counter name, which is right here, and then your instance. And that pulls the values off of it. If you see your object name, your counter, and your instance. And you're going to do the same thing down here. If you noticed memory, it uses a different object name, which is memory, and then available M bytes. So what we're going to do is copying and pasting is our best friend, unless you just like typing, and which is I can type, but I choose to copy and paste. It's a lot easier, faster, quicker. And so we need to come back up, and you cannot have multiples of perf CPU counter because that would be ambiguous. And some of these words I really don't know where they come from. So on this one we're going to put perf mem count, and then on this one we're going to put perf system counter. And then if you notice that these two right here, they do not take an instance. And I will show you that here in just a second. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to size that down. If you come back, you see it has an object name. It has an object name, and then it also has a counter name, but it does not have an instance. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, remember, it was the object name was memory. If you can't remember, you can go back and look. So memory, and then here is available M bytes because that's what we had chose. So we're going to put available M bytes. Okay, now this one right here, the object name was system. So we're just going to put in system, and then it did not take an instance name, it's just got the counter name. And so what I'm going to do is, I think it's system uptime. I'm just going to check and make sure. Yes, system uptime. So system uptime. Okay, now be sure that you have everything done right here. That's in line with your object name, your counter name, and your instance name, and which is only one of them has an instance name. So what we're going to do is we're going to minimize this out. Now we got to bring that up to where it'll actually show. So on our timer, you remember that we set everything for 1 second interval, and we do have it enabled. So we're just going to double click on that, and it'll bring the timer click event in, or not the click event, it's the timer tick event. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, those labels that we had, label 1 dot text equals, I put plus, equals, and then we're going to put CPU, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to do plus, and I'm just going to make this kind of, instead of going through having to backtrack, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The empty quotations is going to space it out a little bit, and which is I'm going to show you how to clean that up as well. But what we're going to have to do is, it's going to be real choppy if you do it at first. You're going to have to cast these to an int, which is all these are floats. They're going to bring it up into a decimal point. So we want to cast this to an int and make it a whole number. Remember, floats are decimal, ints are whole numbers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make this right here into an int. And then we're going to go outside the parentheses, and then we're going to put in perf CPU counter dot, and then we're going to go to the next value, and then we're going to close that off, and then we're going to put our semicolon there. Now we want this to be in percent, so what we're going to do is plus, and then you're going to do your quotation, and then you're going to come back and do another plus, another quotation marks, and then you're going to put in percent. Now what this does is, oh, my nose is itching. I don't know what it's doing, but okay. Back to the tutorial. Once you put in the empty quotation marks, you're going to space it out and you're going to put the percent. Alright, now you're going to come back down and you're going to put label 2 dot text equals, and then your quotation, and it's going to be available memory, and then you're going to come over and do plus quotation marks, and then you're going to do plus, and then you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to cast it to an int, and then you're going to put in perf mem count, and then dot next value, and then you're going to close that off. Now the int is going to make it into a whole number, and so we want to recognize what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our quotation marks up as usual, and then come back over and then put quotation marks again, and then we're going to put MB for megabytes, and then we're going to come back down and we're going to do label 3 dot txt equals, and then system uptime, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back down and we're going to plus your quotation marks plus, and then we're going to have to cast this into an int as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cast that to an int, and then we're going to go outside the parentheses, and then we're going to go to our perf system, put in F, so our perf system counter dot, and then next value, and close that off. Alright, now I'm going to show you a little dirty trick right here, because it's going to come up, and remember, everything goes by milliseconds. So it's going to come up and say that your computer's been up for so many thousands of seconds if it's been running for a couple of days. So how to get past that is you're going to divide by 60, divide by 60, and then you're going to put plus, and then your quotation marks, and then you're going to put hours. Okay, so this right here is basically a clean little perf monitor that you can use. Now, which is right here, we're just going to kind of clean these non-using statements. So we're just going to bring that up and bring it there. So now what we can do is we can run the project. Hopefully there's no errors. And there was no errors, and if you see, it comes up 83%, 77%. Computer's been up 5 hours, and then 15 something megabytes. And you see the hours is kind of close together. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of space that out a little bit, which is the exact same thing as come through, and then you space that out. Now also over here, we're just going to kind of clean it up and make everything aligned. So we're just going to bring this out to say about right there, bring that to right there, and then bring that right there. It just kind of neats it up a little bit. And then you click Start. And which is, you can take the CPU and go a little bit further over. I would say about I'd say 7, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should put it almost in line with it. Oh, about 3 more clicks, which is, you can go through and get it to where it's equally lined up if you want it equally lined up, and if you notice, now it's lined up with it. So this right here is how to make a monitor that's text based. Now you can go through and put your charts, and you can do all sorts of different things, but that's for another tutorial video. And so remember that this monitor, you can do CPU, available mem, system time. These are not the only things you can do. Remember, you go to your resource monitor, and then up where this lovely green plus sign is that right here, you can just basically click on it, and there's tons of performance counters that you can use. Don't be shy. Go in and experiment with each one of them. If one of them gives you problems, just leave a comment in the question in the description below of this tutorial, and I'll be sure to answer. If I can't answer, I'm pretty sure there's somebody who has already tested these out and knows how to do it, and they'll help you as well. And remember to like, subscribe to the channel. Follow me everywhere. The descriptions are down in the link. You can follow me on Twitter at Ivan Systems. I'm a very social guy. I'm on there every single day, and I post these videos on YouTube as well as my website. My website is in the link below, as well as my Facebook group, Computer Programmers, and then you can follow me on Twitter as well. And I think I have my LinkedIn in there. I'm not sure, but it should be. And then also Jerry, it's Barnacles, and he is Barnacles Nerdgasm. That's his YouTube channel. It's down in the description below as well. He's a very, very, very social guy. You can find him on Twitter as well at Barnacles. Now, also, if you have any questions, be sure to leave it in the description below. I hope this helped you to bring this application to life. This is something that you can use, and you can use it on an everyday purpose. You can put it on different machines. There's really not that much to do to it. As you see what we did with this right here, it was only 6 lines of code, which is very, very short. And this is your application that you can use on an everyday purpose, and it's something that you can use to add on to make an app to push out to the market. Hey, you never know, you may create an app that the next person may pay you a couple of $1 million for. But this is it for this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next one. My name is Ian with Camp Nerd, and I will see you in the next tutorial video. Be sure to stay tuned. Follow me everywhere.